Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to be testing out an indoor TV aerial. So this particular one that we're testing is made by 1x1 and it's a HD aerial, so it's supposed to be able to get all the Freeview HD channels. Now the good thing about it is super thin, so it takes up no room at all. Obviously this is never going to work as good as a rooftop aerial. If you've got a rooftop aerial you're going to keep on using that, but let's say if your rooftop aerial breaks, or if you've moved into a place and there's only one cable feeding the main TV and you want to install a TV in a bedroom, or maybe if you're a student or something and you've moved into a room away at university and you're wondering, do these internal aerials actually work? Now years ago the internal aerials were rubbish because they were like rabbit ear aerials that used to move around the place, and every time you walk past it it would go fuzzy and stuff. But this, I've looked at the reviews of this one and it is supposed to work quite well. It tends to be people saying it works really well or people saying it doesn't work at all. Now I think a lot of this is going to be to depend on the reception in your area. Now at the moment I'm in a house with good TV reception, so I'm going to test it here. I'm also going to just do a very brief test in another house that has average reception, and then my house has absolutely awful reception. So I don't think this is going to work in my house, but we will try it. I think we'll probably find that it will work well here, and I'm not sure about the other house. Now, just in case the aerial on its own doesn't work, I've also bought a little aerial amplifier kit. So basically normally you would just plug in this aerial straight into the TV, this one here, but I've also got this little amplifier kit that you have to plug in to a wall electric socket. So what I'm going to do is, on this TV here, and this is the house with good TV reception, I'm going to do a scan. At the moment it's working perfectly. This is on a HD channel here. It's working perfectly via a rooftop aerial. So I'm going to scan the TV on the rooftop aerial just to see the amount of channels that it picks up. And then I'm going to plug in this aerial here on its own, and I'm going to scan to see the amount of channels it picks up on its own. Then if it's not picking up many channels, I'm then going to use the booster here to see if it picks up more channels, and then we'll flick round a few of them, because sometimes although it picks up the channels they might be pixelated. So we're just going to see how well it works, and then you might have a better idea of whether a product like this will be suitable. Because if for example you've put a TV up in your bedroom or your son or daughter's bedroom, then you might not want to have to run cables to it, and because this is so thin you can just take off the stand. And a lot of people just put this behind their TV because it comes with little 3M sticker pads, so you can just put a little sticker pad on there, and when you look at the box it shows you that it can stick to the window. But it would be nice if you had a flat screen on the wall that it could just stick on the wall straight behind the TV, but I've got a feeling that's probably only going to work if you've got a very, very strong signal to begin with. So let's tune up this TV here and see how many channels it's picking up. So I'm going to go to menu, I'm going to go down to install and retune, and I'm going to do an automatic scan, and I'm going to put digital aerial. Do you want to start an automatic scan? Yes. Right, so it's going to be scanning through. Now I'm going to fast forward this bit so you don't have to watch it. The important bit, I just want to see how many channels it's picking up with the good aerial on the roof, so I know that everything is working fine at the moment on the proper aerial. Right, okay, so that picked up 173 channels. So I'm just going to scribble that down here. 173 on roof aerial. Right, okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this aerial here, and let's see what sort of channels. We'll do another scan and we'll see what it picks up. So I'm going to put out the aerial here. And I'm now going to plug in this little aerial here, and I think I'm just going to leave it here for the time being because it's nice and tucked away outside behind the TV. Now the thing with aerials like this is you might get a poor result here, but then for example if you were to put it on a glass door over here and stick it to it, the result might be good. But I'm just going to put it here to begin with. If you were to find a good location, I mean, it'd be ideal if you could just stick it to the back of the TV, then it would completely blend in. But I would say, again, you would have to have a really good signal to be able to do that. So I'm just going to leave it there, and let's do another scan. Well, already you can see that it is working, so maybe rather than scanning the TV, let's just see if I can flick around some of the HD channels to begin with. So remember, we've swapped aerials now. Let's go to the HD channels and see if they look okay. And this isn't using the amplifier. I've still got the amplifier down here. Right, so it's not picking up any of the HD channels, but maybe we need to retune it. So let's retune it now, and we'll see how many pictures, how many channels it comes up with. So I'll let that go through again, and then what we'll do is I'll then plug it in with the booster just to see what it looks like. And if it's still poor, maybe I might try moving that aerial to a different location just to see if it gets better. So it's already picking up some channels, but that's not to say these could be pixelated. So I'll let that just run through now. Okay, so that picked up 84 channels. I'm just going to write down 84. Let's just have a quick look to see if they're pixelated or whether they look okay. So that's BBC 1. I'm just going to go through the main channels. BBC 2. So it hasn't got ITV or Channel 4. See if Dave works. Okay, so it's missed out quite a few channels. Let me just see with the HD channels. BBC 1 HD, let's see if they're there. No, they're not there. But the ones that are working do seem to be okay. Right, what we're going to do is we're now going to install the booster into it, so this booster here, and let's just see if that makes a difference. See if we can get more. Oh, I can see it's pixelated now. Yeah, so it's gone pixelated. So let's plug the booster in, scan again. Let's see if we pick up more channels and also the quality of them. So with the booster, we just need to plug it in, and then we take out the aerial, and we're going to plug it in. Let me just put this here. We're going to plug it in to the aerial here, into the booster, into the amplifier, and then we plug the amplifier into the TV. So let me just show you that, how it's connected now. So at the moment we've got the aerial from the booster into here. There's a little on and off switch that you can turn on and off. That's turned on. This lead here is for the DC, which is plugged in to the electrical wall socket, or trailing lead in this instance, and then the aerial antenna is plugged in here. So let's give it another test now. I'm going to keep it in the same position, so I'm not actually going to move the position of the aerial. It's just here. Already we'll probably find that the channel that was pixelated before now appears to be okay. So this was the one that was pixelated, but let's give it another scan and see. So just to show you here, the roof aerial picked up 173 channels, the aerial on its own 84, but remember I haven't adjusted this around the room. Reading the reviews, people said you do need to take time and you need to move it around the room to get the best signal. So like I said, if I was to put that aerial over by the window, then perhaps it would be okay. So let's scan it again now. Right, so now it's going via the booster, so let's see if it makes a difference. Let's see if we can get more than 84 channels and closer to the 173 channels. And then I may then put it nearer the window or move it to a different location in the room just to see if we get more channels again. Right, it's already jumped up to 95 channels, remember, and it's only part of the way through. Remember before, I only got 84 channels with the aerial by itself. But when it's going via the amplifier now, it's definitely picking up more. We're at 106 at the moment. But again, I don't know if these are going to be pixelated or not. We're at 139. Right, so it says 143 channels. 143. So it definitely hasn't picked up as much as the rooftop aerial, even with the amplifier plugged in. But still, 143 is a lot of channels. Let's just see what we have got. So this is BBC One. BBC Two. Let's see if we have ITV now. Yeah, we have. It is pixelated. Channel 4. That's pixelated as well. Channel 5 is also pixelated. So it looks like the channels it didn't pick up before, it is picking up now, but they are pixelated. So I'm going to try moving the aerial just to see if that makes a difference. Right, I've just temporarily hung the aerial there off the door handle, and it does seem like the pixelation's gone on that. Let's go back to ITV. Yeah, so it's not breaking up there. Let's try channel 4. Okay, so it is better up there. I'm just going to go to the HD channels, 101. That should be BBC One HD. No, so it hasn't picked up any of the HD channels. Right, so it's missed out the HD channels. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to retune it again with the aerial. I know it's not ideal, but I'm going to have it in that position up there, just to see, because the idea is, when reading the reviews, that people did say they had a lot of success when they took their time and they moved it about in different locations. Now, if you were to like it in that position, I mean, obviously you can't really put it there because the door is going to be in use, but there would be another part of the room that you would be able to probably get just as good as reception. So remember, this is just a test. I just want to see now. Let's go to menu, let's tune it up again, and let's see if we get more channels. Right, okay, so it's past the 143 channels it found before. At the moment we're on 150. And it also says there that it found BBC One HD, BBC HD, Channel 4 HD, BBC 2 HD. So it looks like now the HD channels are coming up. So what might be useful is you can also get these indoor aerials here, these ones with longer aerial leads. So at the moment this lead looks to be, I'm not sure if it says on the box how long it is. Oh, there you go. It says a 1.8 meter coaxial cable. So if you were to get one with a longer lead, then that would give you more flexibility of where to put it. So for example, if in this install here, if it had maybe a 5 meter lead, then you'd be able to tuck it up by the windowsill over there. And on the window you're going to get a lot better reception than you would do in the middle of the room. So for example, just by placing it on that door there, it's already picking up more channels. So it might well be worth getting one with a longer lead to give you more flexibility, and I'm sure the price isn't going to be a huge amount different. Now, just to tell you the price of these, this particular one's from Amazon. This was around about the 15 UK pounds, and then the little aerial amplifier here was about £10. So both of them together was £25. And I forgot to say at the beginning that this is on the ground floor. Obviously now if you were on a first floor or on a second floor, in a block of flats, then you are going to get better reception the higher up you go. Right, so that's picked up 150 channels. So I'm just going to write that down. See what the reception's like now. Right, so that's BBC One, BBC Two. Let's go to ITV that we had trouble with before moving the aerial. Right, okay, that's not pixelating, that seems pretty good. Let's go to the HD channels now, let's see what they look like. This is BBC One HD. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice picture. BBC Two HD. a perfect picture. ITV HD. Channel 4 HD. Channel 5 HD. So it's picked up the HD channels this time, and they do seem to work well. This is normal. Let's see if they've got the CBBC HD. Yeah, they have. Yeah, the picture is very clear. So, in this particular house here, I think one of these aerials could well be worth it. I mean, it's picking up, when we moved it around, it's picking up 150 channels by moving the aerial. The original roof one had 173, 84 channels just with the aerial, 143 with the amplifier and aerial, and then 150 with the amplifier and aerial and moving the aerial. So that's not to say that we wouldn't get the rest of the channels if we had a longer lead and were to move that to a different part of the room. Now, it's never going to be as good as getting something like this, you know, for an amplifier distribution box like this. So for example, in this instance here, this very dark cable here, the old cable here is the aerial from the roof, and then these are the ones going off to the different locations around the house. So this is always going to be better. By using this here, we're getting 173 channels and all of them are perfect. Look, to do this. Now, if you've got the money or the time or are capable of doing this, then by all means do this option here, it's going to be better. But if you've just moved into some student accommodation and you just want to get yourself some, you know, HDTV with most of the channels, then maybe look into this. Obviously, the stronger the reception, the better it's going to be. But as you've seen here, by playing around with the locations, you will get a better reception. So I think if this lead was longer from here, if this was a longer lead, personally I would put it on the windowsill just there, and then you'll probably find that it would pick up even more channels. But as it, yeah, so what I'm going to now do is I'm now going to test it in another couple of properties just to see, but it's just going to be quick tests now, just to show you how they're working. But you get the idea of it here. So for the sake of spending £25, you can get Freeview HD and most of the Freeview channels with a plug-in area. So it looks like the aerials have come a long way in the past 20 years, because the rabbit ears before used to be absolutely rubbish, but these ones do seem to work pretty well. Let's plug it in and see if we get anything on this TV here.
Front door. Oh, what do you want now?
I'm just going to leave that just there while we tune it up.
How'd you get back up again?
Crawl up.
Steve.
Now, it looks like it's already picked up the signal from before.
Is that the main cause?
Yeah, I think so. Tired.
Right, as you can see, it is breaking up there, it's pixelating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the booster kit just to see if that solves that. Right, so we've got the booster here, and we're going to unplug the aerial. You can see that the picture's got better as soon as I move it around the place. So we're going to plug the booster, the aerial into the booster like that, and now we're going to plug this bit into the TV. And now we turn the booster on with that little switch. Let's just flick through. I mean, already the picture does, it's not pixelated anymore.
Question is, can it win?
So that's a plan?
5 works. Hi TV.
Across Southern Time.
Here they come again. The player who defeated him in the 2012 Olympic men's singles final.
Well, the booster has appeared to make a difference. I'm just going to throw it behind here now so it's not taking up any room.
The 50
kilometres off the mainland.
Right, so we're back in my house now, which has a poor reception area. Although I do get all the channels, it's because I'm using good quality cables. I've got a good quality splitter that splits and amplifies the signal to all the different rooms. But even then, even though I get the channels, when a low flying aeroplane, a little light aircraft flies overhead, the channels will break up. But anyway, we're gonna retune this TV just to show you how many channels it's picking up. We'll just let that run through, and then afterwards I'm going to plug in the aerial again via the amplifier, because I know that the signal's so bad in this area that even with the amplifier it's probably not going to pick up much. Okay, so that's 100% and it's picked up 173 channels. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unplug the rooftop aerial and I'm going to go and plug in this aerial here. Now what I'm going to do is, to get the best reception, I think I'm just going to place it on the window here. Again, it's not ideal, but I'm going to place it high up on the window. And let's see what reception it gets. So at the moment it's placed up there just behind the blinds. And now I'm going to rescan again. And remember, this is via the amplifier, so it's the best signal that you're going to get. Right, okay, that hasn't picked up one channel, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the aerial to a different location and see if it picks up any channels then. And if you have a look now, it is starting to pick up the channels. We've got 18. Right, okay, so that's picked up 45 channels, which is a very low amount. We'll have a look now, see if they are actually watchable or if they're pixelated. And you can see straight away that it is pixelated. So although it's picked it up, it's not watchable. Okay, so we have got that one working. Let's try BBC Two. Right, that one's working. We haven't got any of the ITVs. Let's see if we've got any of the HD channels. No. And again, if I was to move this, if I was to move the aerial, you can see that the signal's going again, so the signal's gone. Yeah, so it only works when I'm in the very top corner of the room, and even then, it's not a great picture at all. Now, as you can see, using this aerial in this house would be a waste of money, but I knew it wasn't going to work well because the reception on the roof aerial is not perfect anyway. So it wouldn't be worth spending £25 on this item if you lived in an area with a weak signal. So for example, I've got flats in front of me, I've got redwood trees behind me, and I'm a long way away from the television mast. So there's, in this instance here, it would be better to fit an amplifier splitter box and then run cables from that box to different parts of the room and then run the roof aerial into that box. If obviously you've got a fault on your roof aerial, it would be better, instead of spending £25 on an indoor aerial, it would be better to actually get the aerial on the roof fixed. But if you live in a strong signal area like the first house, then these really do work, and in which case then they're a lot cheaper, just a lot easier just to install one of these than having to run cable into that room or having to renew your roof aerial. And in the second house there was average reception in that area, and this did work, but you did need the booster, so it only worked well when you had the amplifier plugged in. When the amplifier wasn't plugged in, again, some of the channels were pixelated. So should you get an indoor aerial? Yes, if you have good reception. If you haven't got good reception, then definitely stick to either a roof aerial or use an amplifier setup from the roof aerial to distribute the cables all around the house, so you can have TVs working around the house. Now there is websites you can go on to check your reception, so we're just going to have a quick look at them. Okay, to check the reception in your area, you can actually check this online. Now, it's not going to be perfect because you might have a huge tree in your back garden or your neighbour's garden that's blocking a lot of the signal. But it is just a kind of a guesstimation, but it will still give you an idea. If you pump in your postcode into one of the TV checker sites, then you'll have a better idea of whether you might get away with using an indoor aerial. So if you go to Google and just type in TV reception checker, and can you see there it's brought it up there, so I'm going to go down to checker, TV reception checker, and if you go to, I'm just going to use this one here, there's a few of them, but this one here is Digital UK Coverage Checker. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to do the difference between the first house and my house, because the first house the reception was really good, and this here you would be happy to use in the first house. In my house, which is the last house, you would not want to use this whatsoever. So let's put in the postcodes and the house numbers and let's see what it comes up with now. Let me just point the camera away. I'm going to put in the postcode now of the first house. And I'm going to go to detailed view. So if you have a look here, there's a little thing that says detail view, and then I'm going to click to go. Now let me just scroll down to get rid of the address. Right, okay, so I've scrolled down to get rid of the address, and it says here, the most likely transmitter is Crystal Palace, London region, and then it's got the distance, so it's 26 kilometres away from the Crystal Palace transmitter. So it's a long distance away, but if you have a look down at Crystal Palace, can you see where it says now and also final prediction, everything is in green across the board, and it's all at 100. Yeah, so that's really good. So you can tell by this here that you're going to be getting a good signal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to put in my address. Right, so if we have a look here, the most likely transmitter is Crystal Palace. It is 31 kilometres away, so again the distance is getting even greater now. But if you have a look down here, it's not all green like the other one was. So if you have a look at the key, it says green is good reception, variable reception and poor reception. And if you have a look, it's not all green like the other one, it's quite a few ambers there, and even some of the greens, they are low, they're only 70, while on the first house they were up on 99 and 100. So basically I think when you put in your postcode and house number, if you're getting greens across the board from your most likely transmitter and their high scores as well, then by all means I think it would be quite safe to say that by doing an indoor aerial there's a pretty good chance that you are going to get most of the channels and that they're going to work well. But if you see that there's amber and also some of the scores, some of the greens are low, so here we've got 70 instead of 95, then I think it's safe to say that you're not going to get very many channels at all by using an indoor aerial, in which case then it'd be better to get your roof aerial sorted out, or if you have one TV that is working, then get a distribution box like an amplifier box that I showed you earlier, and then physically run CT100 cables are good cables to run from there to the different rooms in the house where you want the TV. So hopefully this video would have helped you out a bit. So it has kind of worked as I would expect it to work. It's worked really well in a house with good reception, and it's worked really bad in a house with poor reception. And hopefully by following the checker and stuff that you've seen in the video, you will now have a slightly better idea of whether you're going to have any luck using something like that. So give it a thumbs up if you found the video helpful, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care now.